welcome to our podcast stream. And as you know, that we always introduce you with new guests every time we have this podcast. And today I have a very special guest, Mr. Suresh Anantpurkar. He's the founder and CEO of Manch MDM tool. So, as like other MDM tools, Munch is also one of the very good MDM tools in the industry. So, I have a pleasure to have the founder itself on our bridge. Hi, Suresh. I hope you are doing good and welcome to our
I'm doing
podcast.
I'm doing good. Thanks, and thanks for having me, Rohit. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Suresh sir, for taking out time. Well, uh, well, as you know, that our podcast theme is about the golden record, and as you know, that in our MDM vertical, golden record terminology is very common, and it's something, the basis we have created this Munch MDM platform. So I want to start simple and understand from you, first of all, the idea behind creating this Munch tool. And did you see any real problems throughout your journey where you have seen that how Munch is able to successfully, bridge those gaps?
Yeah, I think this is a great starting question. It takes me back to the day when we launched Munch. Munch, as you know, means platform, and we help organizations manage their uh, processes in paperless, presenceless, and cashless manner. And in order to do this, obviously the data which is coming into the system has to be verified, validated, and authenticated at source. So this is the premise on which Munch is built. At Munch, I mean, you won't believe, but at Munch we don't have a printer. I have not printed a single paper in the last 8 years. All these requests or transactions happen through our platform, and in order for that to happen, obviously we need to have good data into the system. So when I started looking at the problem and the industry, what I realized was the companies were bringing the data in, and then they were looking at the ways to clean the data, use the data, and so on and so forth, which I felt was slightly inefficient in my opinion, because if you do not allow bad data to come in, obviously the amount of work that you need to do once the data comes in is very less. So it's like, in our network system we have a firewall. So why not to have a data firewall which prevents bad data from coming in? And that was the premise on which we started working. And I found that to be a huge gap in the industry, where, as I said, data was brought in, and then post facto a lot of verification was done. Back office resources were used to clean the data, find the duplicates, and so on and so forth. We felt we should be able to do that upfront, just like, as I said, data firewall. Okay, that's the premise on which Munch is built. So, Rohit, as we start talking, and I think we did talk about this a couple of times. You have vast experience on the data management as well as MDM, and you have seen multiple global as well as local tools out in the market. So, where do you see the biggest failure point that's happening in the industry today as far as MDM is concerned? Or, in other words, what are the challenges that the industry is facing, and what they should they do in order to have a far more successful MDM implementation?
Well, thank you first of all for the elaborative answers, right, sir. That's very exciting that how Munch is able to position itself in the market with the clutter around MDM tools. It's very important to have that clarity as a founder, and I mean, I think it's an eye opener for all those who are in MDM industry vertical to understand that why Munch is important and how Munch is positioning itself. Well, to answer your question, that why exactly it's important, for a large enterprise to position MDM rightly, and what could be the biggest failure point, as you asked. Well, I feel that when you are running this MDM program, it should be very clear that it's not an IT initiative. It is a business-driven initiative, and it's very important for the business to own this, to understand that what is the value this MDM is going to create in my vertical. It can be any vertical. Let's you talk about manufacturing, retail, pharma, financials. Every vertical has their own use cases and their pain points. So once they start aligning this initiative with the pain points and understand that what is the value it is going to drive, then I would say then the chances of success are more than plain IT is just positioning MDM as one of the tool. Because I have a very varied experience in this domain, and I've seen projects failing. I've seen some of the biggest of MDM initiatives crashing because business was not owning it. Business was not taking any ownership. IT can do their job, but if somebody is not taking accountability of this whole journey, then obviously it is bound to fail. So to answer your question, it is very important that we derive it through business, and also the governance has to be there. Somebody needs to own it. Somebody needs to say that, hey, I need to take care of this data which has been created by MDM. And if we do that, you will see the chances of success will be more. Sorry, sir.
Oh, I think that's fantastic. That very well aligns with what we also think, because at the end of the day, the process is owned by the business, right? And if they do not
Correct.
own the MDM implementation, which essentially is a process-driven activity, the initiative is bound to have suboptimal results. I think I, I totally agree with what you just said.
No, thank you so much. And well, from your experience, I want to understand from you, because you're the founder of the Munch company. So, what made it different from other tools or other approaches? What makes Munch different from others?
Yeah, I think so. If we look at the world per se, right? I think I call this as enterprise is broken, and I would say that's a bold statement, but I think that's right. The reasons are three: their data is in silos, the processes are not well orchestrated, and their governance is reactive, not proactive. Now, at Munch, we have taken a very different approach. And the second thing is, organizations or enterprises are not simple or in nature. Quite a few of them, especially the big ones, they would have grown inorganically with acquisitions and so on and so forth. So it is bound to find the enterprise having multiple ERP solutions, multiple CRM solutions, and the data would be lying all over the place with no single source of truth. And that is where we find that Munch, essentially makes a huge difference, wherein we make sure that any data that comes in, no matter which channel it is, which mode it runs through the Munch data firewall, as I said earlier, and it will really prevent bad data from coming in. It will make sure that the data is verified, validated, authenticated, deduplication check is done, uh, compliance checks are done, and the fraud checks are done, so on and so forth. And it also makes sure that the processes are well aligned. So through that, our platform will allow only good data to go into the system. Most of the MDM solutions that I have seen, and I think you have far more information and knowledge on the various MDM tools. What I have seen is often the information is brought in, or the data is brought in, and then it is cleaned. So there's a post facto analysis and activity that is done for data merging activity, data cleansing activity, deduplicate activity, and then it is pushed to various operational systems or analytical systems. And we have just flipped that entire process. We are saying, we should not do that. Give control to the end user who owns the data, and let that end user provide the information to you, and build the right kind of quality checks into the system. And that's how Munch is it developed or has evolved. Most importantly, we have made this as a no code platform, and I think we'll talk about that in a bit. But it's a no code low code platform which allows organizations to configure complex business processes, and MDM is one of the verticals. of that entire puzzle or the ecosystem that we have built. So that's how we feel we are much different, very, very different from the traditional MDM tools, because it does far more than what the traditional MDM tool does, but it also looks at MDM in a very different way. It's a refreshing approach, I would say.
No, that's wonderful. I mean, I really liked some of the initiatives what you have done in Munch, and it's very important to have some differentiators because, as I said, it's a clutter of MDM tools right now. And if any client or any CIO is taking a decision of purchasing an MDM tool, they always want some kind of differentiators. So it's very important that you highlighted those points, and the data quality is definitely one of the game changing feature. So I'm glad that you included that in your pitch, and that's what actually I was looking forward to hear that what is something different about Munch what you can offer in the market.
I think that that's how fundamentally the platform has been built. Now, I think I just have a follow-up question on what you said earlier. So even when the companies invest in MDM platforms, uh, adoption across business teams still remain a challenge. And you did allude to IT initiative versus business initiative. So why do you think it's still so hard to make MDM a business-wide priority rather than IT, just IT initiative? What are the structural or philosophical or the thought process changes that need to happen?
Exactly. I mean, I think it's a very good question, and I'll give you the answer based on my experience because the normal target people in this for selling an MDM is always a CIO, a head of MDM or head of a data or a CFO. So these people are actively involved in making a decision whether they want an MDM or not. So it's very important. The first question, the strategic question everybody asks me, specifically a CIO, CFO, that what is my gain? What is my ROI? Why shall I invest this much? So you have to tell them, in terms of the cost benefits and strategic benefits, what MDM is going to bring on table. So if you cannot convince them on that, then obviously it will be very tough to sell an MDM case. But if you are able to tell them that what MDM business benefits is going to derive and what cost benefit, strategic benefit they can straight away see by having a master data management, then you will not find it struggle to sell an MDM story. So as I said, that it's not an IT initiative; it is a business initiative. That's why you have to convince them with the business language. You have to tell them that what are the benefits because they are not purchasing just any random tool. They are purchasing a tool to solve some of the core problem they are facing, whether it's related to the data fragmentation or it can be deduplication. It can be probably their data quality is really bad and they want something which can fix that. And I'm glad, with artificial intelligence booming around, people have started realizing the importance of MDM. Only thing, the definition is changing. Now they are calling it that AI is getting the context from MDM. So you will see this word, at LinkedIn and everywhere, that people are realizing that why context is the new king because they know the brain which AI is getting is from master data management. So now this is the best year I would say for master data management because now people are realizing that we cannot have a successful artificial intelligence use cases without fixing our data layer, which can only happen when you have a master data management. Some people can debate that we can do it with the data lake, but data lake is not responsible for master data management. It is for transactional data. So you have to be very clear that if you really want to control the core pillars of your data, that is master data. That can only be controlled when you have a proper MDM tool, irrespective of which tool you want to go. But having an MDM is extremely critical. And that's why I say that this is the best year to sell an MDM. And if you are able to sell this story to a CF or a CIO, I'm sure they will understand and they will take master data management for sure. Well, Suresh, sir, I have one more question for you. Well, one of the biggest challenges in MDM is the complexity, what I feel, because when I am evaluating MDM tool, because I'm in this business where I have to suggest the right MDM tool to my clients. And always the first thing they ask me that does this tool is a single domain MDM or a multi-domain MDM? So I want to understand from your perspective that as a Munch, are you a multi-domain MDM offering or you focus on single domains, and which all domains you can do, and also your perspective that how Munch simplify a very heavy in a slow moving space there's perspective to master data management. So if you can really help me answer this question, it will be great.
Yeah, I think before that, I really liked your answer to the data problem and the importance of data in the AI world today. Because when I know there was a study by MIT where they said 95% of the initiatives did not give the desired results. AI initiatives did not give the desired results because of three reasons: data, process, and governance. And this is exactly what Munch has done. Munch, right from day one, has focused on data, process, and governance. Now, coming back to your question, are we a single domain or multi domain MDM? We are a multi domain MDM with unlimited domains. So, essentially, Munch, the way Munch has been architected is and visualized is uh, essentially we have the ability to configure any domains. And as you know, there are six standard, all organizations have six pillars. I call these as six pillars, where customers, suppliers or vendors, material, bill of material or product, financial structure, assets and employees, these are the six pillars of the organization. And some people may call this as domain. So we support those six domains or six pillars, plus any other subdomain that's there, which is associated with these domains, and anything else that the organization wants to manage through Munch platform, whether it is data or process. So we are a true AI native digital orchestration platform with pre-built MDM or master data management domains configured into it for various verticals. So, and that's the only way you can really operate, I would say. Otherwise, if you are a single domain MDM, then organizations will have multiple MDM solutions, and then there won't be any data synergy. Again, the data will be in multiple systems, which could be in silos, and the relationship between these data elements will be hard to find unless and until you consolidate that under a separate platform. What Munch has done very, very effectively across the companies that we work with, whether it is in some Coca-Cola or Coke Philippines or Swiggy or Nerolac, UPL, you name it, right? All the big players. We start with one or two domains, and over a period of time, all the other domains are also integrated or configured into Munch. Not only that, we also make sure that we have a platform which is essentially a business process orchestration platform. So organizations who have complex IT infrastructure with multiple vendors providing bespoke solutions and so forth, they look at Munch to consolidate their IT and vendor landscape and simplify it. And all the customers that I just mentioned, they have been able to successfully do that and decommission the bespoke systems or multiple systems that they have. The way we simplify this is, I think it's basically our configurator is very, we have a very powerful configurator with rich functionality. But most importantly, what we have done is we have a AI native platform. That means AI is embedded or integral part of each and every layer of the platform. The third thing that we have done is we have built AI based configurator which allows the customer to feed the requirement into our configurator, and magically the configurations come out. So something that would take months would happen in span of days in Munch, and that's the kind of transformation that we have achieved using the Munch platform that we have built over a period of time.
Awesome. I think the way you described and the usage of AI, I mean, that's very, heartwarming to see. And it's very important, as you said, that to have a tool, MDM tool, which can do multi-domain. Because as I said, when you're working with different clients, And you also pointed out that if they are having single domain, then there will be a need of having multiple MDM tools, which never solves any IT problems, because the coordination between different tools will be very, very tough. So it's always good to have a MDM tool which can provide a multi-domain kind of experience. So I think I'm glad that Munch has that. So definitely, if all the viewers who are hooked to our podcast and they're watching, and Munch, if you're looking for a multi-domain MDM tool, then definitely you can consider Munch as one of the platforms for that, and you can definitely contact Suresh and Suresh team for the demonstration and capability that they have in multi-domain.
So, Rohit, I just want to pick on what you just said few minutes ago, where AI enterprises are moving towards AI-driven decision making. That's what sort of you alluded to. How critical do you think trusted and unified master data will become? And are organizations truly ready for that shift today?
Interesting question. I mean, it is an extension of the last answer which I gave. Well, AI, as you know, that is very, very important, and you can't shy away that saying that AI is there for our future. For next 10 years, we are going to transform the way we live because of the artificial intelligence. So it's very important that our MDM tools or any tools these days in enterprise, they have to have some kind of AI element. And also, as I said earlier, that AI cannot function without MDM. So there is a direct dependency. So first of all, we have to accept AI. And while accepting AI, we need to accept that AI will not be able to give you the right results if you do not fix the data layer. And we always say, the garbage in and garbage out. It means that if you are not fixing the data layer, the AI is going to present that garbage data beautifully. That's it. So it's very important that have that AI layer in your MDM. And I'm glad that you said that Munch already has an AI layer, because now let me give you a very small example. Even for 100,000 records, if I have to do a data cleansing of a supplier master, for example, the people used to take at least minimum 2 to 3 months for just doing the data profiling and data cleansing, because everything was manual, and we were relying on human to see the attributes, enrich them, go to the supplier manual, go to the manufacturer manual, go to the website, and find out what is the correct information. And obviously this was a very tedious, time taking process. But now with the advent of artificial intelligence, all this can be speed up. So I clearly see that there is a role of artificial intelligence in master data management, specifically in data cleansing. So if AI can take care of some of the repeated activity which a human is taking, I can do that 100,000 records in roughly 2 weeks. So that is the speed, that is the execution I can provide if I know exactly which particular data needs to be enriched, what needs to be enriched. That my AI based profiling can already give me in one day. In just one day, I will know that what is your data health. And after that, next 2 weeks, I'll just spend in cleansing that. So this is the power of artificial intelligence. But as I said, that that MDM is definitely evolving because of artificial intelligence. And so basically both are complementing. MDM cannot live without AI cannot live without MDM. So we have to find out a way that how MDM will get speed from AI. And when we are fixing that, ultimately you're fixing the data layer and you're giving the context to your artificial intelligence use cases. So it's very, very critical that we have to embrace AI. And for that, I feel there is a direct usage in data cleansing, and even for the deduplication, we have already seen that machine learning was part of the deduplication. So there was always a use of AI in master data management processes. But with now AI being more relevant, you can have a lot of use cases in MDM. Even for, let's say, product mastering, a content creation can be done with the use of artificial intelligence. Image governance, let's say, if you are tagging a wrong image with a description, that can be caught by AI these days. In fact, AI can suggest you what is the right image. So there is a lot of AI use cases in data cleansing, in image governance, in deduplication. A lot of places I can see we can have artificial intelligence on any tool which can embrace all of that will definitely have an edge over the other MDM tools. So it's a
That's I think that's great. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to understand from you as well because you have spent so much time in this MDM vertical, and I'm sure that you must have seen that there is a governance in the organization, literally on paper, but when it comes to execution, we feel that there is lack of that ownership. Because as I said in my initial few answers, that if you are not owning the data, you are bound to have a lot of rework and even a MDM failure. So have you seen such kind of examples, and how Munch actually bridge that gap? Do you have that kind of data rules, the data governance framework in Munch, which can enable that not only we are implementing from IT perspective, but also we are giving an interface to business to have a direct say in the tool from the governance point of view?
That is fantastic, and that's exactly what we do. Obviously, data governance is defined by a governance team, but unless and until there is a mechanism for you to implement that governance through a simple interface, where you that governance basically will get converted into business rules, validation rules, business rules, duplicate checker rules, you name it, right? So that translation has to happen in the most simple manner. And what Munch does is Munch gives that control back to the business users. So our business users or the solutioning team, you call it, right? There are different names. They have complete control over how to define the rules, what rules need to be defined, where to define those rules, and the impact of those rules on the business process, right? And downstream processes. We always make sure that we don't bring the bad data in. That means we always question each and every data element that is being defined in a domain, and check whether that data element has to be verified or not. If not, why it should not be verified. If yes, how to verify it. So that's extremely important, and we have the ability to verify that information by connecting to internal data sources or by connecting to external data sources. uh, the other thing which is also very important, and which I think will come up very soon in all the discussions, is the ability to support multimodal data. Today, the data is becoming more and more complex, uh, and unless and until the platform supports location intelligence, location awareness, and multimodal data, which is your speech to text and images and videos and voice and you name it, right? Other unstructured documents, and extract the information from it and reason because lots of rules will be buried into those kind of documents, and you should be able to extract the information from those documents, and then make sense out of those rules and get it validated or verified against some other set of rules. So Munch has these capabilities, and that's the only way the platform can scale. Otherwise, every small change will become a change in the software. And Munch being a no code, low code platform, we have externalized all the complexity of the business process configuration. And hence, any complex business process can be very easily configured through our platform. And that's how we are able to provide business value to the users.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, that's very important because having a data governance interface in the platform is extremely critical. Because, as I said, that we want business to have a say, and for them, it is extremely important to have that kind of control from the tool itself. So, I'm glad that you thought about it, and this is one of the key features to have it in a MDM tool. Well, I was very, excited when you were talking about some of the case studies. You talked about Coca-Cola, you talked about Swiggy. So I want to understand from your those examples specifically. Let's talk about Coca-Cola. That what was their business problem and how Munch really solved it. So if you can give it a small kind of illustration and just an explanation of that case study, it will really benefit all the viewers who are watching our podcast.
Yeah. So I'll start with one very latest implementation that we did in Nerlac, wherein they again it's a multi-domain implementation. Customers or employees, dealers, sub dealers, painters. material, all of that will be configured on Munch, or it is getting configured on Munch. And uh, one of the sort of I would say points which was sort of discussed was what is going to be the value addition when I implement Munch. And what we showed to them is something that used to take 3 weeks for them to complete. So dealer registration used to take 3 weeks. So all the way from identifying dealer to starting the business with the dealer, that time frame was about 3 weeks. With Munch, we brought it down to 3 days, and that itself really, created so much of excitement in the organization. Essentially, they are getting 2.5 weeks of additional business from the dealer, right? So that is one example wherein what we did there was essentially we made sure that the control is given to the person who is engaging with the dealer. So the first touch point of the dealer with the salesperson is where we started capturing the information, and that information gets verified as the information gets entered into the system. And quite often the information gets entered into the system in a progressive manner. You don't get all the information at once. So but you would need all the information to start doing the business. So we have the capability to allow them to do the progressive, information addition and validation. So that is one example. Now coming back to Hindustan Coca-Cola, they have a large scale. They onboard like 3 lakh retailers plus 3 lakh plus retailers every year. And imagine a situation where that information of the retailer is not verified at source. You will need a army of people in the back office to check the information which has come in, to check whether it's really a valid retailer or not, and so on and so forth. So through our platform, we really made sure that all the information which is captured at the time of, at source, which is at the time of creation of the retailer on the ground, is verified right there and then through the platform, including the location, including the the image recognition, and the communication controls, the compliance controls. So all that stuff was verified at source. Duplicate check was also done. So a multi-step process was brought down to maybe a couple of steps, and something that used to take a week now starts happening in 7 minutes. So that's the kind of transformation that we have done. And the other thing is we have actually helped organizations simplify their MDM landscape, because they had multiple tools, because one single tool was not able to manage all the domains. So we help them bring all those tools under one umbrella. So now your customer, vendor, material, bill of material, financial structure, all of it is under one umbrella. And then if there is a need, like in the new SAP world, it's business partner, right? So the business partner resides in Munch, and sometimes you also see that employee can also be a vendor, right? All those complexities of the organization get very easily managed through the platform without having to really look for some additional tools or plugins. So that's the second example. We have also implemented in UPL, which all of us know is a multi-billion dollar company. 40,000 plus crore or 50,000 plus crore is their revenue. It's present across 40 cities, 40 countries, and 6 continents. And they have 5 SAP systems. A single platform, which is Munch, uh, is able to now cater to all these 40 countries requirements, and 7 regions and 5 SAP systems. Something that used to take 40 hours now happens in a span of 1 to 3 hours, because
Wow.
of the centralized MDM platform that we have deployed, which has a centralized governance, centralized rule definition, but at the same time the ability to define the rules at the local level. So there is control, but there is also flexibility, and it's very important for a large organization to have both. You need to have control, but you also need to provide flexibility so that the end users or the organization doesn't feel sort of constrained by the features of the platform. So
Cool.
we provide both, and that's how we have done. And there are many such examples, like Swiggy. We help manage the restaurant relationship or a restaurant life cycle management or restaurant engagement. I mean, these are different words used, but essentially from the first touch point that the restaurant has with Swiggy to various business construct changes that happen between Swiggy and the restaurant from time to time get managed through our platform. So I mean, I can go on and on, but I think each one of it. So we basically say we focus on the deliverable. We focus on the end result, right? It's not just the automation, but it is the orchestration, and we also give examples as to how the business process will get transformed both from the time perspective but value as well as cost. All three elements are important, so we basically map the business process to time, cost, and value, and that's how organizations start seeing the value in implementing Munch.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, I really love the case studies. And I mean, anyone who's hearing our podcast will get to know that how the real cases looks like in master data management and how MDM can simplify them and make it so effective for the business. I mean, the example you took for Narrowlag, then Coca-Cola and Swiggy, these are eye openers for anybody who wants to start his MDM journey. Well, you also spoke about SAP integration, and that can be also one of the differentiator because having worked with multiple MDM tools, I know that some of the integration with these ERPs like SAP, MS Dynamics, Oracle Fusion, that is also one of the I would say differentiator. So, do you have the direct connectivity? Have you created connectors, or it's APIs based connection? Like, how do you generally go about connecting with these standard ERPs, specifically HANA?
Yeah, so Munch is a 100% configuration platform. So our integration is also configuration. Our reporting tool is also configuration. So in case of integration, we have multiple ways to push the information or pull the information from different systems. We are not constrained or limited to any of the platforms, and we connect to the system or the platforms through APIs. RESTful API is something that is very common. So through the API connect, we are able to do real-time verification. Plus, we are able to push the data in real time, and that's why the transformation of from days to minutes can happen because of the availability of the APIs and Munch's ability to integrate those APIs in a very effective and seamless manner. So we do connect to various ecosystem players through
Great.
APIs.
Well, one of the user on LinkedIn who's watching our podcast is asking you a question. So the approach here is ELT rather than a traditional ETL ways. So do you want to validate his question, or do you think he's right over here?
So as I said, I think the information which is being captured is captured from the end user. So let's take a simple example of, and it may be possible in some cases, it may not be possible, but we provide the tools and techniques wherein if I'm creating a new vendor into the ecosystem, I would rather empower the vendor to create that information in the system and build the tools and techniques into the system to avoid duplicates, to avoid fraudulent data, unverified data from coming in. So as I do that, obviously the ETL process is not needed because when you go live, you will need one time verification and cleanup of the data. You create a single source of truth from the existing data, and any new data that is brought in is pre-verified, validated, authenticated. So the need for ETL goes away with Munch.
Correct. Well, another question we are getting from the some of the LinkedIn user. I'll just read it for you. So, how do you think we can use that? Come not in a turnaround, and what middle shift the organization needs to change or shift.
Sorry, say it again. I didn't catch the question.
So the user is asking that basically, that the turnaround time, specifically if any change is happening or a shift is happening, How do you handle it in Munch? Let's say any change request comes or something like that.
Any change? Okay, the CRs you mean to say, change request. Yeah, so I
Yes.
think, yeah, so as I said, we are a no code, low code platform with 100%. The entire configuration happens through a DIY tool, do it yourself tool, which is a drag and drop tool. Now, the change request, there are multiple ways, right? We have instances where customers have trained their own resources to manage the change request. So we train them, we empower them to do that. And there are other customers who said, "Hey, Munch, I don't have the resources. You manage it on my behalf." So they give the change request, and we make those changes using our DIY tool. And the turnaround time, most importantly, and this is something that I heard from one of the customers. He said, "Suresh, it takes 2 weeks for us to create a purchase order, but Munch turns around the configuration of the changes in 2 days." Right? So that is what we really strive for. We really want to make sure that the businesses are very agile, right? The market or the business is not going to wait for you. If you don't react, then obviously you are going to lose the opportunity. And our endeavor is basically to make sure that we help the organizations or the businesses to meet the market demand. And the only way to meet the market demand is basically empower the business users, make it as simple as possible, provide them tools and techniques so that they can make the configuration changes, or we provide them the help needed so that we can make the changes on their behalf. Right? That's how we react. And yeah, I mean the change request is I think normal. It is how the business works, because you can't have a static process. Your business is going to evolve, and the platform is fully equipped to manage that.
I think thank you so much for the detailed answer. I believe the users who have asked this question got a satisfactory answer. Well, one of the users also asking is Munch is a on-premise tool or a out-and-out cloud-based SaaS offering, and which all cloud models, cloud services Munch supports.
So we our preferred model is a cloud model. We do support all the cloud. We can operate on any of the cloud providers platform, whether it is GCP or Oracle Cloud or Amazon AWS.
AWS or Azure.
Yeah, DigitalOcean. So our deployment today is on DigitalOcean. We have been working with them for good 7 years and good experience. It's also a US based company, listed company. We work with them, and we do provide a multi-tenant as well as a private deployment.
Okay.
On-prem, yeah, I think if instead of on-prem, I would say if the customer has their own cloud environment, we can deploy it there. Yes.
Got it. I think that was it. I mean, very detailed answers you gave, Suresh sir. But I will not, let you go before you jump in our rapid fire round. So this is
Okay.
a quick kind of a questions. You don't have to take, a lot of time and give elaborative answer. Just say whatever first word comes to you. Sort of a, fun round, we can say. So I hope you're good with that. Can we start?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Sure. Thank you so much. Well, how do you define MDM in one word?
I think defining MDM in one word will be injustice, in my opinion. I would say data process and governance. All three go together.
Great. And what breaks more often in enterprise? Is it data or processes?
I think the process is broken, and because as the process is broken, data is broken and governance is broken.
Amazing. Well, what is the bigger shift today? Is it like single domain or a multi-domain?
It is multi-domain, but it's multi-domain plus plus, I would say, wherein organizations are not only looking for multi-domain, they are also looking for to solve many other problems which are otherwise not solved by the standard MDM tools.
Well, what is the most underestimated challenge in enterprise data today?
I think I think the organizations even now to a large extent feel that let me bring the data in and then think about how to clean it and how to use it, right? So that has to be, and that is very, I would say, as we discussed earlier, it's underestimated, and that causes a lot of challenges in the downstream systems.
Well, what's one thing most enterprises still fundamentally get wrong about master data management?
I think you had answered that question earlier. people think that MDM is a AI is a IT initiative. It's not an IT initiative. It's a business initiative, and businesses must own MDM implementation.
Well, the last question for today: MDM today more of a technology problem or a transformation problem?
I think it's a business transformation problem. Technology is there, will be there, and it will evolve. But if the organizations don't transform their business, even in case of MDM, right, they will have to make some governance changes. They will have to make some process changes and things like that. Unless that is done, you're not going to get the output that you want.
Thank you so much for this wonderful rapid fire, and we are almost coming at end of podcast. But just got one question from the user, so I thought just let's take it. Probably the last question for today, sir. This user is asking. Everyone is talking about agentic AI, where AI agents can make decisions and take actions autonomously. Do you see Munch evolving into the orchestration layer that governs and coordinates these agents across enterprise workflows?
I think we are already doing that today. And one of the biggest successes that we have got is all of us know that the enterprise implementations takes months and quarters, right? It's sometimes years. Through our agentic AI solution, we are able to take the business requirement document as the input and generate the configuration as the output. So shrinking the time by literally weeks and months, uh, and giving the initial output literally in a span of a couple of days. So agentic AI is here to stay, and that is something that is going to really drive many solutions, and Munch is at the forefront of it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the detailed answer. And it was pleasure talking to you. Thank you for this amazing podcast. Hope you enjoyed the session with us, sir.
Yeah, fantastic. I think I really loved the interaction, and I mean, you are one of the well-known figures in the MDM space, and it's always pleasure to talk to you and learn from you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for such warm words. And guys, whosoever watched our podcast, we really want to thank you. And if you still have any questions, you can please, send your questions to Suresh sir or me, and we will definitely, give you the response. And if you're really interested in knowing more about this technology, that how Munch is positioning itself in this world of master data management, then you can again reach out to Suresh team or my team. We will organize a demonstration for you so that you can know this technology in and out. And I believe, as with this podcast, we can summarize that this is definitely one of a very exciting MDM tool, and anybody who's looking for an MDM tool definitely should consider Munch for at least for the demonstration, so that you know that what are the pro and cons. Thank you again, Suresh sir, for this podcast. It was lovely speaking to you. Thank you.